Hello everybody, it's Anne from Anne's Stampin' Up. Welcome to another Stampin' Up and card making day here in Simcoe, Ontario, where I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. If you live in Canada and you don't have your own demonstrator, you can shop with me. You can reach me at stampsandtea@gmail.com, or my demonstrator website is stampsandtea.stampinup.net. So today we're going to use another new stamps and die set from the annual catalogue. The stamp set is called Loveliest Tree. It's on page 71 in the annual catalogue. Cost you $56 for the stamps and the dies. Beautiful set. So I'm going to turn the camera down and we'll see what we're going to need for today. So we've got this lovely stamp set here. It's called Loveliest Tree. Comes stamps and dies. The dies cut out the beautiful tree, and you've got sentiments. Congratulations, thank you, happy birthday, sending heartfelt sympathy. I like this heartfelt sympathy stamp because it doesn't say, you know, I'm sending heartfelt sympathy or you're in my thoughts today. You could use this one for a group, which is what I make my sympathy cards for normally for my quilt guild. So we have the stamps, we have the dies. You've got the die that cuts out the big tree on the front. You've got another set of dies that would cut out, you know, another tree. You've got some leaves, 3 leaves, and then you've got this leaf which cuts out this little sprig of leaves on the front. We're also going to use this new embossing folder. It's huge. It's really huge. I'd say it's about 9 by 6, 9 inches by 6 inches. It's called Dotted Circles. It's in the annual catalogue on page, I think, 129, and it's $16.50. So we're going to use that today. What else are we going to use? I've got a punch here. Any punch will do that will cut out your sentiment. Mine is called Story Label Punch. I don't think it's still available, but it's just a nice shape for a sentiment, you know, to cut my sentiment out. We're going to use Stampin' Right markers today. These are just your average Stampin' Right markers. You can buy them in the catalogue. You can buy a huge set for about $140, which is lovely because you get every colour to match every stamp ink pad, but you can also buy them separately if you wish. So we've got Early Espresso, we've got Old Olive, and we've got Granny Apple Green. We're going to use those. We've also got Early Espresso and Old Olive stamp ink pads that we're going to use. So the supplies we're going to use for today to make today's card, we're using Basic Beige, one of the new colours. This is going to become, I hope, like a standard colour, you know, like your basic white, your basic black, basic beige. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and it's going to be a landscape card, so it'll sit up like a tent when it stands up. We've got the first mat, which is Early Espresso, and it's 5 1/4 by 4. We have 2 pieces of Very Vanilla, which are 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, because I just wanted a very narrow border around, and I've got a couple of scraps to stamp my tree and my sentiment. So let's do the stamping first. I'm going to keep the envelope here because I want to stamp on the envelope. I'm going to use this little leaf sprig to stamp on the envelope. I've got a sending heartfelt sympathy sentiment, and I've got this lovely big tree. So let's get started. We need, okay, we'll put those out of the way. We need to stamp on the inside of the card. We need to stamp the tree and the sentiment, and we're going to stamp a little bit on the envelope. And I think that's all we're going to stamp. Okay, so we're going to do the tree last because it's going to be done a little bit differently. So let's just quickly stamp the sentiment. Sending heartfelt sympathy. Now let's see, where's my tree? Is it going to fit on this piece of card? Just barely. Will it fit on that piece? It fits better on that piece, so I'll use that piece for the tree. Okay, so we've got this for the Sending Heartfelt Sympathy. Nice juicy stamp, and I'm going to stamp it away from the side and up from the bottom, because I don't know where my punch is going to land. Okay, so I'm going to stamp it there just like that. Lovely, nice sharp stamp there. Okay, we've got that's all we need for the brown for now. We're going to use that again in a little while. Okay, we need the Old Olive stamp ink pad and this leaf. We're going to stamp some leaves on the envelope just to decorate the envelope. I'm just going to go like that and like that, just to decorate the corner of the envelope, once like that, once like that. We've got the tree, we've got the inside of the card, and we're going to stamp that, just a little sprig of leaves in each corner. Just like that, just to give that a little bit of colour inside, because we're not going to put any sentiment on the inside. We're going to leave that, we're going to leave that so that you've got lots of room to write. So that can go over there. This is my piece for my tree. Now the piece for the tree is going to be a little bit different. What we're going to do, we're going to take the stamp. Let's move the card out of the way for a second. We're going to take the stamp. We're going to use the light Granny Apple Green. Okay, and we're going to use, you've got a pencil tip and a broad tip, or a paintbrush tip, and I'm going to use the paintbrush tip, and I'm just going to go lightly over the whole, just about the whole thing, the whole stamped image. Okay. Now I've got to be a little bit careful here, because I don't want to get too much colour on the tree trunk, the parts of the trunk that stick through. I'm going to remember to do the bottom, and I'm just colouring lightly all over the whole thing with my marker. Now I can see that I've got empty spots, and that's good, because what I want to do now is take my darker green, my Old Olive, using the paintbrush tip again, and just scribble here and there on top of the light green, because I want sort of a multicoloured effect for my tree. Then I'm going to colour the trunk. Just going, using the brush tip again, and going just over the parts that I left where I could see tree trunk. I'm just going to quickly go over that. Then I'm going to huff on this stamp. I'm going to get my card ready in place, and I'm going to go breathing hard on it to give it some moisture, and I'm going to put it down, and hopefully I've got different colours in my tree, different coloured bits of leaves in my tree. Actually that shows up quite well there. You can see sort of the darker bits in there. That's nice. That's exactly the effect I was going for. So now I have to take these pieces, this to the Big Shot to cut it out. Where are my dies? Here's my big die, and it's going to go on there like that. Now I want to line it up, and I'm going to tape it down so that I can carry it over to the Big Shot. Let's just set that there. Hope it stays. There, that's going to be cut out using the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now my other piece of very vanilla, which is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, I'm going to put in the big folder here and take it to the big shot. Now you can place this anywhere you like, but let me just close this folder and I'll show you if I can. If you put it here, you've sort of got no pattern on your, no embossing on your top corners. You see here there's a big space in that set of circles, so I'm going to pull the card down and just keep pulling it down and moving it around until I find a spot where I have lots of embossing all the way around. Okay, that looks pretty good there, right there. So I'm going to hold that, take it to the big shot, emboss this, cut this piece out, and I'll be right back. And here I am. There is my tree, which cut out nicely. I'll just put the die back in the box so I don't lose it. Right, that can go probably in the garbage. We've got the tree, we've got the embossed folder. Let's take that out and see what we've got. There, you see you've got lovely embossing in all of your corners and all the way around. That's exactly what I wanted for that. So we can put the card together just about now. We need to punch out this sending heartfelt sympathy, and I'm using, as I say, my story label punch. Now it's pretty big, you see, so what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to line this up. That's about the middle. Punch it out, and then I might trim that. I don't know. I might just cut the sides off. I'm not sure what I'll do yet. I could just cut it off there and there, and it would just give me a nice rounded sentiment. We can put this card together. So we've got just some Stampin' Seal Plus, and we're going to make sure that opens the right way. Put the dark brown or the early espresso matte down on the card. And I should have about 1/8 of an inch all the way around on this one. Like that, and then this mat is going to go on here like this. Now there's only going to be about 1/16 of an inch all the way around, because I just want like a little dark brown border or edging. Okay, so there, I think I'll put just a little on the sides there, so we're holding it in place. 1/16 of an inch, it's about there. There we go. I don't want to press it too hard because I don't want to flatten my circles there. I've got some dimensionals here to put my tree down. Now, what I did before when I made my sample, I put my dimensionals here, here and here, and it worked really well. So I'm going to put one right in the center of the card, and then I'm leaving the top on it so it's not sticky yet. I'm going to put my tree down and see, you see, I think that's going to look really good there. So my other two dimensionals can go in here. They might have to go down a little bit, little less than even with, whoops, that one was too far, I think. Little less than even with the center one. You see, that's just a little bit higher. We'll peel the backs off. And then the tree will go down. Just going to try and line it up about the middle. I think that looks good. Yep, so I've got a dimensional here, here and here, and that worked really well. So now my sentiment. Do I want to leave it this size and put it in the corner? I think that's honestly too big. Do I want to trim it there and trim it there? I think I do, but I'm just going to use my snips to do it. So I'm just going to go like that. And like that. Now to me that looks a little bit harsh, you know. It's going to fit nicely in the corner now. Now I've got a little piece of sponge here, and I'm going to open up my Early Espresso ink pad, and I'm just going to dab some ink on and gently rub it around the edges of this sentiment. This will also help to make this little piece of card not quite so harsh. There, that's all I'm going to do with it. I think I finally learned the secret of less is more. I'm going to take this and put it in the corner there. Now you see how it doesn't look quite so bad now that it's in the corner and it's been sponged around the edges. I've got a tiny little brown bow here. Now I don't know if I want to put that bow on there, but I think I do. Let me tell you how I made the bow. I did not have any brown twine, Early Espresso twine, or even a very fine ribbon. I just didn't have anything. So I took this piece of Early Espresso gross grain ribbon, and you can see how it's wonky along the top. What I did was I took my snips and I cut the very edge all the way up, so it gave me this very thin piece of thread, if you will. It's got some threads on, but that's okay. You know, the threads where I wasn't quite straight, you can sit and pick them off if you want to, but you know, you don't really need to. And I just made a little bow to go on the sentiment. Let me put this piece down on my card first. Got a couple of dimensionals here. Let's use one more just to make it even. This right in the corner, just like that, and pick up my bow again. Just going to put it right on the bottom of the label, and then I'm going to trim the label, trim the tails, sorry, because I don't want them too terribly long. There. Make the other one about the same. There, and then we've got the insert for the middle to go on the inside of the card. An 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Good press. There, that's today's card. That was a quick and simple card, used very basic supplies. I mean, if you didn't have a stamp pad, you could colour your sentiment stamps using your markers just the same. You know, you've got 3 markers, you could colour your sentiment stamp and colour your leaf stamp using your markers, and you could stamp just the same. Markers are a great alternative if you don't have every ink pad colour. So that's it, that's today's card with an envelope to go with it. There we have it, that's it. That's a nice card. It's better to make sympathy cards when you don't need them. That's today's card. My own design. If you want to copy and share, please do so. If you sell your cards, use the Stampin' Up angel stamp, which just says all the supplies are Stampin' Up supplies. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week. Bye.